I missed you. I was down in the States. I was reading the USA Today every day. I love the USA Today. I found so much that I wanted to share with you. It's a good reminder, though, that there's virtually nothing in the paper in the USA Today about Canada, except for what I'm going to open with. A good reminder that we don't matter as an investing destination from a global perspective. A really good reminder. Of course, we read the Globe and Mail every day. You know, we read the local news. We hear about the banks, and the reality is we need to be acutely aware of the fact that we probably have a Canadian bias. We know Canadian companies. The fact we know Canadian companies leads us to invest in them more often. I certainly am guilty of this. I have way more Canadian than I should. And the reality is that that costs us money, right? International investing is better than Canadian investing over the long term. So just be careful of your own biases. I make mistakes too. I learn as I have this stuff I learn too. I just share with you. Well, maybe not half. That's not.
I have a question.
Can we just wait to the end?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
All right, agenda for today. Canada, hooray! However, housing in the big cities is scary. The answer is save, and we'll talk about how we're going to do that. Credit cards should be something on your horizon, because as you start to turn 18, we want to get a credit rating. We want to get some credit scores. We want to get a credit card. We want to use our credit card. We want to pay it off. We want to show that we can manage credit. So when we need to get our first car loan, think about a mortgage, we'll have a credit score in place. It's important to understand. However, interest rates are going up. So that's going to make those products even more expensive. I want to talk about spring. It's spring, of course, so everyone deserves a new car. We'll talk about what that means and how dangerous that can be. A little bit of practical things, global index investing. Again, I believe this is the answer. Can I find a one-stop, buy it, and never look at it again? Many of you, of course, are in the middle of doing the Nipissing stock market simulation. Aren't you working hard? Right? Following it every day, buying, selling. Man, are you going to do that for the next 30 years? Or are you going to buy a global ETF, fully diversified across the entire planet, holding a lot of equities, and do nothing to it? You decide. Can you keep up this pace that you're doing right now, managing an active portfolio and all the watching? And then, you become a worker and a spouse and a parent and running your kid to soccer. Are you going to be able to do this? So, practical stuff. We'll have a look at Facebook, which is going through a crisis, which may present a little opportunity for you. I should let you know that the board has asked me, the school board has asked me to go to the school board and do these presentations at the school board. So I'm doing a Phoenix Finance 101 and a Phoenix Finance 202. There are so many people signed up that they want to do this. They want to tape it so that people who can't make it into the room can attend. So you need to know that, it's not just you guys, correct? I mean, it's everybody. All right, off we go. First of all, Canada, hooray! So not very often when I was down in the States over the break did I see something about Canada. But you know what? Look at this. We made the list of the happiest country on the planet. So where are we? Top 10. Good for us. There's the list of the top 10. So many of these are the Scandinavian countries. So Finland, Norway, they're doing a lot right. So Finland number 1, followed by Norway 2, Denmark 3, Iceland 4, Switzerland 5, the Netherlands 6, Canada 7. All right, interesting. What do they measure to figure out if we're happy? They follow 6 variables, and here they are. Let's just take a moment and look at them. Is this the clue to happiness? Or is this the pathway to happiness? Income. So you can't be just dirt poor. Life expectancy. You've got to have a good healthcare system. Every one of you know if you're not feeling well and you want to go to the doctor, you want to go to a clinic, you never think about how much it will cost. How blessed we are. I've been in the States taking my kids to the clinic when they were younger and they maybe got a little bit sick or pink eye or something. We've watched people get turned away because they couldn't pay for treatment. That really hits home when you see that happen. How blessed we are. Freedom, clearly. If your country's under siege, you're not going to be very happy. Social support. So again, how do we take care of our marginalized? We often judge societies by how they take care of their most marginalized. And Canada does a pretty good job. Trust, generosity, so much for giving over here. Same countries over the past 2 years have been in the top 10. They are characterized by, this is us, lower wealth inequity. In other words, the poor aren't as poor and the wealthy aren't as wealthy. Higher taxes. Where do those taxes go? They go to healthcare and education. Down in Alabama, they're worried about should they be arming teachers, giving teachers guns. You folks have teachers like Mr. Young, fantastic teachers. Some of you also have to put up with people like me, but that's okay. High taxes, good access to health care, good life expectancy, low corruption, support for the needy. So be appreciative. And I would add now, a faith perspective, an attitude of gratitude. We have so much to be thankful for every single day. Yes, the weather sucks and it's never going to be summer, but the reality is we're blessed. We're very, very blessed. So, hooray, Canada. But we got some crisis happening. And one of the crises that I'm clearly seeing, and this should surprise you, is housing in Toronto. Check out this. Look at this little baby. There it is. Look at that. I'm not so sure that's your dream house, right? Okay, now it's nice inside. Tiny though. But certainly very nice thing, like marble and nice amenities. Okay? Asking price, $1 million. Selling, $1.4 million. Previous selling 3 years ago, $1 million. This causes speculation. This causes people to say, you know what, I'm going to buy a house at any price and hold it for 3 years and sell it for $400,000 more than I bought it for. Your primary residence is tax-free. Your primary residence is tax-free. So if you buy a house for $400,000 and 5 years later you sell it for $600,000, that $200,000 is yours after you pay your commission to your real estate agent, after you pay taxes and your lawyer. It's tax-free. If you buy a cottage, a second residence, and you sell that, that is taxable. And so lots of families actually go through crisis. As grandparents pass on a cottage to adult children, the adult children get the tax bill. Yeah. So, Nan and Grandpa might have bought a little cottage up in Lake Huron, sold it, made $1 million on it at time of death, right? So you have to sell it on paper because you transfer it to the adult children. So you don't sell it, but you transfer it on paper according to the tax revenue folks. They'd be like, hey, we want our tax bill. They're like, well, how? Then they have to sell the cottage to get the money. See the problem? So a lot of stress sometimes. All right, so ridiculous, out of control, big city, like just insane. Another one. Nice house here, without a doubt. Beautiful house. These are Toronto homes. Certainly nicer street appeal, but still one-car garage, right? I've got a two-car garage. Look at the ask. $1.7 million, sold it for $2 million. Previous bought it for $250,000. Holy smokes. So the owners in this home bought it 2 decades ago for $250,000. They just sold it for $1.7 million. Enjoy your vacation retirement days. Now, the other side of the coin is for you guys to look at that, you guys get scared. So, how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to save. I'm going to create a pattern of saving. How can I create a pattern of saving? I can, on a regular basis, commit to do something as simple. If you want to grab your phones, we'll do this together because I don't have the slider that I want. Grab your phones or your calculators. We're going to commit to do something as easy as pack your own lunch. Watch this little calculation. There are 200 school days in any given year. My wife and I never went out for lunch. We packed our lunch every day. We probably saved $10 a day each by doing that. I'd like you to type in 200 school days times 10 times 2. And multiply that by a 30-year career. Now, that doesn't sound like much. As a matter of fact, it's not very much. But that's the difference between walking down to the mall and buying my lunch every day and packing my lunch. So I would suggest to you that the way to counteract this is to do this. And again, you and your life partner have to be on the same page. Imagine if you're brown bagging it every day and your honey's going to Milestones 3 times a week for lunch. Yikes. Okay? So the power of just watching our consumption, living within our means, saving, redirecting that money. All right, credit cards. Unfortunately, we know we've seen this, balances of $20,000 and $30,000 on credit cards. So I own some credit cards. I don't usually carry any balances. What do they want me